Hey everybody, it's Farmer Juan from the JAZ Farm. I hadn't done the video I said I was going to do after the last one of showing you the other side of the farm. I went through the barn side and kind of walked you through that. So I thought I'd do it on the north side where we have the rest of our animals. Farmer Juan, my name on YouTube. Well, why? Farmer Juan, why? Your name is John and you're built like a football lineman and you're Dutch. Why would you do that? Well, it's kind of an inside joke. My niece and my brother-in-law were calling me Tio Juan for a while. Uncle John in Spanish. And no, I don't look Hispanic in the slightest. I'm a big Dutch guy. And that kind of just morphed into Farmer Juan instead of Tio Juan when it came to the farm. And it kind of stuck. Name's John. Farmer Juan works. I'll change it sometime maybe, or not. So here we are. This is the north side of the farm. We have this whole thing set up in a semicircle. And we come out and we call it doing Stations of the Cross. When we come out and do the feeding and watering and such, you can see our two little piggies have gotten quite a bit bigger. And this is station number 1. The pigs get all kinds of food in this feeder, and they learn where it is, and they learn how to flip the lid up, and they can get all the feed they want. It's nice because we don't have to haul 50-pound bags of feed out here all the time. We can get about 8 of them in there, and it lasts for quite some time. Because it is, we just offloaded 2,000 pounds of pig feed. And these guys, from essentially 6 weeks to 6 months, which is about their stay here, they'll go through every ounce of it. It's about what it takes. So I would say that if you are going to run a homestead and you want it to be organic other than vegetables, you might want to keep your day job. Organic feed is really expensive. That 2,000 pounds, I think, cost $1,150. We costed the whole thing out, you know, average pound of pork versus all the expense and no labor factored in, and it's about $5 a pound. So it is cheaper, but that outlay at one time is a real kick in the head. But this is the pig pen. This is one of the first pens that I built. It's got a place here, the corral for putting in the horse trailer, that little horse trailer that we use. We back it up into here, and the last month that they're here, we entice them with stale donuts and milk and bread and all kinds of tasty treats, so they associate fun treats with being on the trailer. And then the day that we have to take them off to the processor, you just basically close the door and drive away. This is the hut that they sleep in. And we've even getting them trained. Usually it doesn't take very long. We've got these guys kind of young. This is a waterer. You can see little blue, see if I can zoom in on this at all. The little blue cup down there. It has a lever, and they learn that if they push the lever, that water comes out of it. And there's 55 gallons of water, so it keeps them pretty well situated. They have their wallows to screw around in, because pigs don't sweat. And they've got to have some kind of a system to be able to keep their body temperatures regulated, especially out here. It's crazy hot in the summertime. And they like to rub, and they'll rub on anything. And if it's not made out of something very sturdy, they just knock it flat to the ground. In fact, over in these weeds over here by the hut, there's the remnants of a shade hut that I built. And we had a couple of pigs that were over 500 pounds, and they rubbed on it and flattened the thing. So I'm going to have to go in there and be a little more determined when I rebuild it. But we're going to be going off in about 2 weeks to get 2 more little girl pigs. Our breeder is going to save us a couple, and we're going to keep them. We know that one of them's name is going to be Petunia. We don't know about the other one. That was Zena's doing. But that's so that we can start breeding our own, to help lower the cost a little bit. And then we'll be able to sell some of the babies, and that'll pay for a lot of the feed costs. So win-win. So that's basically, we're looking straight east. We're north of the house. And if we come around this way, the first thing we'll see are my two little demons spawn, Tank and Dozer. They're our little bucks. They are the companions to the 3 girls that are over in the barn. We have them over here so that there's not any unauthorized breeding. But we are hopeful that one of them is pregnant. So, and she's showing signs of it every day. But this is the first piece that we built as far as the farm goes way back when. And it's our chicken coop. We took an old horse run-in shed that on the left side had a tack room for all of their equipment. The tack room has a cement floor. So inside there we have built the coop. See the door over there? The coop for the chickens. These birds are not all dead. They're dust bathing. I just looked over there and it goes like, oh my God, my birds are all dead. No, they're taking dust baths. Here's one of our dominant roosters, and we have way too many layer hens right now. We're giving 10, 12 or more dozen away to food banks right now. Excuse me. And, you know, that just gets a little bit crazy because we feed them organic feed too, and that isn't at all cheap. So on some of the pictures that I posted, I built a run-out coop or a grow-out coop for our birds because we are now hatching everything that we raise. And we've got over in the barn 2 brooders right now. One's got about 10 turkeys in it, and the other one has 21 Jersey Giant heritage breed chickens. And they will become our breeding stock for our meat birds. And the reason that we're doing that is that if you buy what are called Cornish crosses, or ours in case called Cornish roasters, you get them, and from hatching to freezer camp is about 9 weeks. It's like somebody put a air hose up their butt and then just inflated them. They grow so fast, and their bodies really can't keep up with that speed of growth. And we call them Frankenbirds. It just looks wrong. I mean, they're not genetically modified. They are bred to do that, but they certainly don't act like chickens. They aren't out right now. They're probably trying to stay out of some of the sun, but on the side to the right of that kind of H there in the middle, that's the coop for our broilers. And there's about a dozen or so what are called Red Rangers in there, and they're about 2 weeks out yet from becoming dinner. Excuse me. So we'll have the Jersey Giants, then we'll have our laying hens, plus our turkeys, and we'll be pretty well self-sustaining when it comes to breeding our own meat. The only thing, when you say self-sustaining, the big problem with any operation like this, unless you have $100,000 worth of equipment, it's pretty impossible to raise your own food for your food. I mean, I would love to be able to hay the place out. I would love to be able to grow my own organic field of grains on scale enough to be able to feed all my critters, but that is just absolutely unattainable. Unless of course you come up in a family that's a farm, but most of the farms around here, you can see across the road here, is conventional. You know, those guys grow wheat via fertilizer, fossil fuel fertilized fields. They use Roundup to kill off the weeds. You know, they do all that stuff. And to try and do it here on 40 acres is a little bit unrealistic. So the chickens are putting on a show for you. And of course the little guys, I call them my demon spawn, but Tank and Dozer from the Matrix is where we got the names, and they are the sweetest little guys. They are just rambunctious 3-year-olds if they were human. In fact, we were told when we first got goats that having Nigerian dwarf goats is like giving a 3-year-old a hammer, and that couldn't be a better description. This is where they live, and they're out here with the chickens. They're hay feeder. We affectionately call this the bomb shelter. It's goats like to climb up on things, just like they just did. In fact, they're waiting for me to come and rub on them, and it's a way for them to be able to up off the ground because they like to hop around. And of course they are very dedicated to the whole reason that they exist. In fact, they practice on each other an awful lot. Right now we have a pig hut for them to get in out of the elements. We are in the process of having a shed designed and built and brought in that'll still go here, but it'll be something that actually has a door on it and some storage space on it, because that bomb cyclone we had really made them cold, and I felt so bad because everybody else is hunkered down, and those poor guys, they couldn't get out of the elements. In fact, we came out and rubbed them down with towels, and it was like they just mugged us because they wanted to get so close. Now, we made the gardens that I've showed you before, the raised beds and so forth. This is the old garden. It's about an acre, and we've just kind of let it go right now. It's not that it didn't produce a lot of food. It was crazy how much we got out of it, but it's just, you can see, this is just a couple of months of weed growth, and it was just eating us, just killing us, trying to keep it clear. So what I'll be doing later this year is clearing out, just weed whipping some of it down, replumbing some of it and getting different irrigators in here, and then we're going to plant trees, grapevines, blackberry bushes, make it something of an orchard. And that way we don't have to keep it so cleanly cut down with weeds. And in fact, the little boys right now just love going back there because all their favorite treats are there. 2 little lawnmowers can't clear an acre, but they sure give it their best shot. So this is the the north and the east side of the farm, and what's over here. And then we go over to this other side. Now you can see, relative to the chicken coop, the goat and donkey barn are over there. It has the turkeys, the girl goats, the donkeys, and 2 brooder pens that currently have chickens and turkeys in them. So anyway, that's the other side of the place. I will do another video here shortly that'll show kind of the garden progress now that the summer has commenced, and we'll be good. So anyway, Farmer John out.